Baruch Adonai El Merkadol Batishbachot El Hadaot Adonai Nitlaot Haboker B'Shirei Tzima Melech Elchei Haolamim. Amen. Page 108. El Adon al kol ha'maasim baruch u'morach befi kol neshama ha'gadol v'tuvo malei olam ta'at u'tmuna so v'rimotzo ha'ikar hayot ha'kodesh v'negdad v'chavod ala merkavot zechut u'mishori eviso Chesed v'rachamim lifnei kvodo Tovi ne'oro shebara Eloheinu yitzaram v'da'at v'bina u'vaskel koach u'gvura anam tzamparem li'ot Moshe b'kerev Tevel V'leizim u'yinikim no'kav na'ezim v'chol ha'olam Tzemechim v'tzetzam v'sasim v'boat Osim v'yehem ha'retzon konam Ve'er v'chavod nosnim lishmot Tzalav v'rina l'zecher machusot L'shemesh ha'yizachor V'hitzki surat ha'vana Shevach nosnim lo kol tzevav na'amon Tiferet u'gedula serafim Anim b'chayos ha'kodesh La 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 One and nine, the top together. To God, who completed the work of creation on the seventh day and ascended God's glorious throne, God robed the day of rest and beauty, calling Shabbat a delight. God ceased all God's labors on Shabbat. That is its distinction. The seventh day itself, hymns praise to God, a song for Shabbat. It is good to proclaim Adonai. Tiparach Mosheinu al Shevach Masei Yadecha Val Me'orei Or She'asita Yiparu Chasecha Tiparach Sureinu Malkeinu V'Gohameinu Barei Kadoshim 110, 3.5 lines down. Kulam ahuvim, kulam merurim, kulam giborim, v'kulam osim be'ena b'yararetz ha'olam, v'kulam potim et pihem b'kedusha u'b'tahara, v'shira u'zimra, v'barachim u'mshachachim, u'mefardim u'maritzim, u'makdishim, u'madlichim. El Shem Ha'el HaMelech HaGadol HaGibor VaHanora Kadosh Hu V'nonim Malchut Shamayim Zeh V'nonim Reshut Zeh Kaddish V'yotzra Menachat Ruach V'safavra Udim HaKadosha Kulam Ke'echad Onim Ve'omrim Be'yirah Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melokol haaretz tirvoto. Bafanim b'chayot hakodesh, v'ra'ash gadol min hasirim hatzvachim, u'matam v'shavchim ve'omrim, Baruch Kevod Adonai Mikol. Baruch Ne'imotiteinu Lamelech Chai V'Kayam Zmirot Yomeru V'Tishpachot Yashmiu Ki Hu Levado El Gevuros Oseh Chadashos Bal Milchamot Zoreach Tzedakot Masliach Yeshuot Borei Refuot Noah Tehilos Adonai Niflaot HaMechadesh B'Turo B'chol Yom Tamid Ma'aseh Bereshit Ka'amur le'oseh orim gdolim Ki le'olam chasod Or chadashat Zion ta'ir V'nizkeh kulanu nehela le'olam Baruch ata Adonai Yosef. Page 111. Ahava rava haftanu Adonai Eloheinu Elad Golav V'Tera Chamalta Aleinu Avinu Malkeinu Ma'avur Avoteinu Shebachu Lecha Avinu Malkeinu Vatelam Pekei Chaim Ken Techaneinu Klasneinu Avinu Rachem Aleinu V'ten V'libeinu Lehavin V'haskil U'sho'alim A'u'lelameh Lishmor V'lasot U'kayem Ekol Divrei Talmud Torah Techaviah. Middle of 111. V'ha'erenu b'Torah Techa V'tahabek V'deinu B'mitzvotecha V'yachem V'levaveinu V'ahava V'yirah Et Shemecha V'lo v'nisnecha, na'ila v'nisnecha v'shuatecha. Ha'adienu v'shalom, me'arba ha'anfot ha'aretz, v'soko lichenu, kol meniut le'artzeinu. Ki Epo Yeshuata, Ubacharta Mikoram Belashon, Ve'keratanu L'Shimcha HaGadol, Selam Be'emet, Le'hod Yomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher b'amo Yisrael, ve'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta es Adonai Elohecha, b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha, ve'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele, asher Anochi mitzavecha, hayom alecha, v'shinatam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'beitecha, u'v'lechtecha b'derech, u'v'shabecha u'kunecha, u'shatam le'okos yadecha, ve'hayu l'totafot beininecha, u'chtatam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'shabecha. Adonai Elohechem Emet. דור ודור הוא קיים ושמו קיים, בכיסא נכון ומלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיים. Page 113, the last 4 lines. Emet she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avoteinu, Malkeinu melech avoteinu, avoteinu, go'aleinu, go'el avoteinu, yotzreinu, tzur yeshuateinu, Poteinu matzilenu, me'olam shemecha, ein Elohim u'moslecha. Tzad avotenu atahu me'olam. continue at the end of the big paragraph on page 114 at the box. We'll do the old tune this time, and then we'll go into the Amidah on page 115b. Tehillah le'elyon, Baruch u'morach, Moshe u'Mesrael, l'cha'anu shira b'simcha rabba, v'yamru chulam. Yivamocha ba'elim ha'adonai. Yivamocha ne'arach kodesh, nohorah tehillah, Shiva Parasha Shivchugi Limishin Kasvatayam Yatak Brahmavim Lizu Ve'amru Adonai Elohim Ha'amet Sur Yisrael Kumah Ezrat Yisrael U'Feinu Me'ata Yehuda Ve'Yisrael Go Aleinu, Adonai Tzvaot Shelo, Kadosh Yisrael. Continue on our own, page 115. Let's continue on page 138. Ikara vikara shemei rabba. Yamadi brachu tevyonik ma'apute. V'chayechonu v'yamechon. V'chayedechon beit Yisrael. V'agala v'zman kariv v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevara. V'yolam yomei amayah yitvarach. Yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yidroman v'yinaseh. V'yitadar v'yitala v'yitala shmei l'kudusha. V'yehu. Ve'ela v'yikol v'chata v'shirata. V'yishbechata v'nechamata. Daviranda ma'v'yimeru. Amen. Tikabal soton v'ton v'chol Yisrael. Karama v'hundi v'shmai v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shlam harav min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'chol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'brama. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'chol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'brama. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'chol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'chol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'chol Yisrael. May God who makes peace in the heavens make peace over us, over all Israel, and over all humanity. Let us say Amen. Amen. So let's continue now with the service for taking the Torah out of the Ark on page 139. And because we are celebrating one young lady's birthday today,
She went to get Joan.
who's been sent to get Joan, as she does many things for us already at the tender age of 10. We are inviting her to help lead the Torah service with Cindy.
So I'll just wait for her for a second. If you don't mind, can we wait? We'll wait, right?
Don't mind, it's her birthday.
Okay, we're gonna wait. She'll be right back
With Joan in tow.
with Joan in tow. This is very much, where is Joan? Okay, then we need to.
Never see you on. Why don't you grab it?
Grab yours. What page is it? 139. Here's Joan.
And this is just to get comfortable up here. We're not expecting Brielle to necessarily lead it this morning, but just to start getting used to this part of the service, and she may surprise us. We'll see.
En kanocha Elohim Adonai, v'en k'maaseh, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'neshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor, Adonai melech, Adonai malach. et Zion.
Tirehemot Yerushalayim. Tirehemot Yerushalayim. Tirehemot Levatavavnu. Please rise.
Even so, Aharon, Vayomer Moshe, Adonai, Yafutzu Levecha, V'yanusu Mesanecha, Mipanecha, Yimitzion Tetzeh Torah, Yimitzion Tetzeh Torah, U'devar Adonai Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, V'yidushato. Open our hearts to your Torah, answer our prayers and the prayers of all your people Israel, for goodness, for life, and for peace. Page 140, the 6th line. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Elul Adonai iti, u'miromem Hashemo yachdav.
Adonai Let's be seated. Yasher Koach and Yasher Koach. That was great. I just want to point out that Brielle just got the recording of this like 2-3 days ago. And if you were noticing, she was singing the whole thing anyway.
We only studied once.
So she didn't learn it from the recording, she learned it from being here, which is wonderful, Brielle.
This
Really.
is when you are young and your legs open.
Brain is open.
And heart is open too.
Yeah.
The Torah reading for this morning is on page 476, starting with verse 31. And one of the things to look at is the reaction of the people to Moses going up and down the mountain and getting the laws for them and everything else. ויעזור בגמר שיר לכל החוסים בו נאמר אמן הכל הגו גדול אלוהינו תנו כבוד לתורה.
Michael, can you come up and? Tamod Shana Bat Yitzchak with Kohen.
אתם מדליקים על נעליכם חיים כולכם היום. I'm not going to do that. There may be some answer to other people. You say it. I don't have it.
He won't say a prayer for the
We can
Patriots.
ask. Is there anyone opposed to the prayer for a prayer for the Patriots? Do we have any opposition here? Okay, you can do it.
Baruch Hu Adonai Amarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'omim v'natan lanu et torto. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. V'shati et gvucha mi'am suf v'ad yam Pelishtim u'mimidbar ad hanahar ki etem b'yedchem et yoshvei ha'aretz v'gerashtam mipanecha lo tichrot lahem v'le'elohehem brit lo yeshvu ba'artzecha pen yachatiu otcha li ki ta'avod et Elohehem ki alecha lehem okesh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yasher Koach.
Talmud Levi, Mitzvot Menachem Ubatya.
Oh, I guess, stay with that. And then this, I think. ברכו את אדוני המבורך,
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. So we come to the first time that people react to what's about to happen. ואל משה אמר עלי אל אדוני אתה הרב נדב אביהו ושבעים מזקני ישראל והשתחוויתם מרחוק וניגש משה לבדו אל אדוני והם לא ייגשו בהם לא יעלו עמו ויבוא משה ויספר לעם את כל דברי אדוני ואת כל המשפטים ויען כל העם כל אחד ויאמרו כל הדברים אשר דיבר אדוני נעשה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
He's quite the character.
Yamot Shlishi. Shalom. I'm getting this wrong. Simon. Fido, sorry. Fido Shalom. Ben. Moshe Leah.
וחי עליה.
Barak Alea. I know.
ברכו את אדוני מבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נושא התורה.
Amen.
ויכתוב משה את כל דברי אדוני וישכם בבוקר ויבן מזבח תחת ההר ו12 מצבה ל12 שבטי ישראל וישלח את נערי בני ישראל ויעלו עליו ויזבחו זבחים שלמים אדוני קרים ויקח משה חצי הדם וישם בעגנות וחצי הדם זרק על המזבח.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורה ונס וחי בעולם בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נושא התורה.
אמן. ישוקו.
I hope your book's slow.
Talmud Revi, Rachel bat Abraham Basara.
In this aliyah, we have another reaction to the people about the covenant they're about to enter. Worth taking a look at this one. We're on verse 7, verse 478.
Orko es Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Adonai
אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו בקרבנו מכל עמים ונתן לנו את תורתו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
ויקח ספר הברית ויקרא באוזני העם ויאמרו כל אשר דיבר אדוני נעשה ונשמע ויקח משה את הדם ויזרוק על העם ויאמר הנה דם הברית אשר כרת אדוני עמכם על כל הדברים האלה. ויעל משה ואהרון ונדב אביהו ו70 מזקני ישראל.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Yasher koach. I hope you're following this Torah portion. It has got amazing stuff in it, including this next Aliyah, which starts on 478 verse 10, this encounter with God that we don't usually see.
Like over English. Talmud Hamishi. With my apologies, Louise, I can't find you, but I know you're here.
Liba Elka.
Say,
Liba.
Liba Elka,
Chaim Alka.
Chaim Alka.
Baruch hu et Adonai Habarak.
Baruch Adonai
Habarach le'olam ha'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach le'olam ha'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayeru et Elohei Yisrael v'tachat raglav k'maaseh libnat hasapir u'ke'etzem hashamayim latohar ve'el atzilei b'nei Yisrael lo shalach yado vayechezu et ha'Elohim vayochlu vayishtu. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe alei alai hahara v'heyeh sham v'nelecha et luchot ha'even v'hatorah v'hamitzvah asher katavti lehorotam.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And let's do a prayer for healing. We should do it. So let's close this. Good. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב שרה רבקה רחל ולאה הוא יברך וירפא את
Michael Shalom.
Ben Noah, Hal Harris, Maggie Krzyzewski, Deb Austin, Robert Carlin.
Bobby Eisenstock, Jimmy Eisenstock, Ozzy, Bobby Levine, and Eileen Dunstan, and Kellen, Joanne Sisto.
ואת כל החולים בקהילה הקדושה הזאת, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם להחזיקם ולרק אותם וישלח להם מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף בתוך שאר חולי ישראל שבתי מלזעוק ורפואה קרבה לבוא, השתה בגלה בזמן קריב ונאמר
Amen.
May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessing and healing to all those who are ill within our congregational family. May they be blessed with a full and complete healing, a healing of spirit and a healing of body, together with all those who are ill among the Jewish people and among the world. May those who will not be healed on this earth be blessed with nights free from suffering and days filled with peace. May God grant strength and comfort to those who care for the sick. May God help us to find hope and courage as we face fear and loss. May all those who are ill be surrounded by the love of their friends, their loving companions, their families, and their community, and let us say,
Amen.
Yamod Shishi, Ruvain Lev Ben Mordechai.
Yes.
Baruch et Adonai HaMbarach.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach
Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMbarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayakom Moshe v'Hoshua b'Nisharto. Vayal Moshe el Har HaElohim vel Hazakenim Amar Shuvu lanu bazeh ad asher nashuv alechem v'hinei Aharon b'chur imachem mibal dvarim yigash aleihem Vayal Moshe el Har Vaychas ha'anan et ha'ar.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet. V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Oh, that's amazing. Those grandchildren are beautiful. Precious Helen.
Yamod Shvi'i, Michael Ben Noach Rachel Leah.
Baruch Adonai HaMbarach.
Baruch
Baruch Adonai HaMbarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. אשר בו רבנו מכל העמים ונשא לנו את תורתו ברוך אדוני נושאין התורה.
Amen. Vayishkon for Adonai al har Sinai, vayichaser Hanan sheshet hayamim, vayikra el Moshe vayom hashvi'i mitoch ha'anan, umarei kevod Adonai ha'esh ochelet berosh ha'ar le'nei kol bnei Yisrael. Vayavo Moshe b'toch ha'anan, vayav el ha'ar, vayi Moshe b'har 40 yom ו40 לילה.
ברוך אדוני, אלוהים אברהם, אשר נתן לנו תורה אמת וחיי עולם נתן בתוכנו, ברוך אדוני נושאין התורה.
Amen.
Wow. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shemei Rabba,
Amen.
Yilmad, Yirach, Yerutei, V'yamlich, Malchutei, Yishtabach, V'yitnahar, V'yitraham, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitalev, V'yithalal,
May the good
Shemay
Amen.
Le'elam, Yikol, Birchata, V'shirata, Lamad Abba.
No, we have one more muftir. Muftir.
Oh, sorry. I told you I'm really finished. Everyone's Yamod Matir. Yosef ben Shmuel.
We're on page 480, line 16 again.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'nasan lanu es toraso. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. Vayishkon kvod Adonai al har Sinai, vayichaser Hanan sheshet hayamim, vayikra el Moshe b'yom hashvi'i mitoch ha'anan, umarei kevod Adonai ka'esh ochelet berosh ha'ar le'nei bnei Yisrael, vayavo Moshe b'toch ha'anan, vayal el ha'ar, ויהי משה בהר 40 יום ו40 לילה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher nasa lanu Torah emes, v'chayei olam natapos v'cheinu. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Yashikar.
Can you be Galila if you haven't been by?
No.
Okay. I tried.
Oh, Kalila.
Yeah.
Sure, that'd be nice if she would.
That
That'd
would
be
be
lovely, that'd be wonderful, yes.
Okay.
She's not being talked about.
That's what I thought you were asking for, Seth.
Yosef ben Abraham Basara, Talmud Guila, Aviva Bat
Shayna.
Shana ben Yosef.
Especially for a birthday. As soon as the Torah is lifted and tied.
Lizos, Torah, Asher, Samashar,
L'fnei bnei Yisrael, al pi Adonai, Yad Moshe. Torah, 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 hallelujah.
Bring it low, bring it low.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Torah, 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 hallelujah. Torah, 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 Torah,
Nicely done, Yashikov. And let's remain standing actually as we turn to page 150. Page 150, because we've got a new month coming up and we've got to announce it. And not to give you any hints, but it says in the Talmud, when this particular month comes around, our joy increases.
Get to increase it twice.
And we get to increase it twice. Because this month has a, we'll talk later. Page 150, let's read together the top. May it be your will, Adonai, our God, and God of our ancestors,
To reawaken in us
joy and blessing in the month ahead. Grant us a long life, a peaceful life with goodness and blessing, a sustenance and physical vitality, a life of reverence and piety, a life free from shame and reproach, a life of abundance and honor, a reverent life guided by the love of Torah, a life in which our worthy aspirations will be fulfilled. And let us say, Amen. מי שעשה ניסים לאבותינו וגאל אותם מעבדות לחירות, הוא יגאל אותנו בקרוב, ויקבץ נידחינו מאבק ענפות הארץ. חברים כל ישראל ונאמר אמן. ראש חודש אדר ראשון יהיה ביום שלישי וביום רביעי הבאים עלינו ועל כל ישראל לטובה. יחדשהו הקדוש ברוך הוא עלינו ועל כל עמו בית ישראל לחיים ולשלום. לששון ולשמחה. לישועה ולנחמה ונאמר May the Holy One bless this new month for us and all God's people, the house of Israel, with life and peace, joy and gladness, deliverance and consolation, and let us say,
Amen.
And on that theme of joy, let's turn to page 151 in happiness and do the beginning of the Ashrei call and response. And Ashrei means happy. Happy are those who dwell in your house. Ashrei,
Ashrei,
Yehoshvei,
Yehoshvei, Oh, Hallelujah.
Ashrei,
Ashrei,
And we continue on page 153 as we open the Ark, preparing to return the Torah to the Ark. Yehallelu et Shem Adonai, ki nizkar Shem Adonai, Odo haaretz b'shamayim, vayarem keren li'amo, tila le'om chasidim, libnei Yisrael amkerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. He's more than David. Abu Adonai Levi. Abu Adonai Kavod. Abu Adonai Kavod Shemo. He's the Abu Adonai Levi. Adonai Almighty Rabbi, oh Adonai Barakol, oh Adonai, oh Adonai Shomer Rabbi, Vashaker Adonai et Arzemavano, Ayarchidem Kimo Egel, Levano Bisi, Kimo Ben Re'eli, oh Adonai Yachil Miban, Yachil Adonai Nidor Kadesh, Ayechol Elai Omer Kavod, Adonai Lamabu Yasham, Vayeshem Adonai Melech Leolam, Adonai Osmeamo Yitain, Adonai Yemoharet et Amo Hashem, Ugnucho Yomah. Eitz Chaim Hi Lemachasikim Ba V'tom Necho Meusha Derachecha Darkeino Bechol Netzivotcha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Kadesh Yameinu Lekech. Let's be seated.
Just didn't have confidence. Does you need a book?
Let's take a little look at our Torah portion today. So let's look on page 478. One of the pieces in here is the acceptance of the Jewish people of the giving of the Torah. It's not just God's giving us this Torah, and that's that. We are partners in this. And we'll see an echo, I think, 2 or 3 times in this Torah portion about our acceptance of it. So let's look at them. One of them Because, it could be that it wouldn't be that way. God says, this is it, this is the line, you follow it, and that's that. But that's not the way it goes. Verse 7 on 478, Moses takes the record of the covenant, reads it out loud to the people, and they said, all that the Lord has spoken we will faithfully do. Okay? So that's one thing to know. We read the book. That's one way it's presented here. Now, if someone wants to read from verse 9 on, that would be great.
Then Moses and Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 elders of Israel ascended, and they saw the God of Israel under his feet. There was the likeness of a pavement of sapphire, like the very sky of purity. Yet he did not raise his hand against the leaders of the Israelites. They beheld God, and they ate and drank.
First of all, that's just an amazing thing. Here's sometimes in the Torah we're told we can't see God. We're not supposed to look directly at God. It's too overpowering, too overwhelming. So there's sometimes this sense of awesome distance. And here, there's a sense of both that awesomeness of the shining of the sapphire and whatever, but they see God, and they have a meal with him. And God doesn't raise God's hands against them, and they sit and they eat. Come on, God, sit down and we can talk. It's rather amazing. So we have both of this in the Torah. And sometimes we don't hear this, so that's one of the reasons I want to read this.
I think it's rather human of him.
Okay.
Rather Jewish of him. Come sit and talk.
Eat and talk.
Sure, he can talk, yeah.
Okay, and I'm looking for where it says Naaseh V'Nishma. I know it's here. We read it. Can someone help me find it? We're looking for Naaseh V'Nishma. Oh, here it is. Beautiful. Okay. Let's go back a little bit. We're going to see two more acceptances quickly. Back on page 477, verse 3 and 4. Would someone read those?
Moses went and repeated to the people all the commands of the Lord and all the rules. And all the people answered with one voice, saying, all the things that the Lord has commanded we will do. Moses then wrote down all the commands of the Lord.
Okay. So we just read a little later that they said they would do, but this time it's even clearer. They said with one voice, we will do. You ever hear the Jewish people say anything with one voice? And again, there's this voluntary acceptance. It's that we're happy to do this. This is all right. Now, would someone else take it further from early in the morning?
Early in the morning, he set up an altar at the foot of the mountain with 12 pillars for the 12 tribes of Israel. He designated some young men among the Israelites, and they offered burnt offerings and sacrificed bulls as offerings of well-being to the Lord. Moses took one part of the blood and put it in basins, and the other part of the blood he dashed against the altar. Then he took the record of the covenant and read it aloud to the people. And they said, all that the Lord has spoken we will faithfully do. Moses took the blood and dashed it on the people and said, this is the blood of the covenant that the Lord now makes with you concerning all these commands.
Okay, thank you. So this time, once there's the third ascending to something, not ascent going up, but agreement. that the people say, and this time it's not only na'aseh, we will do, na'aseh v'nishma. We will do, and we will hear, we will listen. So, the first thing to point out is the whole sense of there's an assent here from the Jewish people. It's not just something imposed. And we're happy to do it. The other thing, na'aseh v'nishma, it literally means we will do and we will hear. And some commentators say, isn't it interesting? Before they even heard, they agree to do. Now, the context says they did hear the book, but sometimes people take just that phrase and they say, all right, we'll do it and then we'll figure it out. Which seems to be the other way around. We'll hear what it is and then we'll think about it. Well, do we like this? Do we not like that? Or we'll do what we do. So there are different models here of how we accept the Torah, how we accept the commandments, how we do things. Some people, and I've heard especially some of folks I know more on the Orthodox observant side of tradition will say, you don't have to understand it. Don't nishma, hear it all and figure it all out and then do the act. Whatever it is, whatever mitzvah you're doing. Do the mitzvah. It's a mitzvah, it's a commandment, do it. And out of the doing, you'll figure out what the meaning's going to be. And that is one very legitimate approach to how we might live our lives as Jews. Just suspend my head for the beginning, do the act, and then see what happens. And of course, another approach is, well, let's have all these study classes so we can really understand what this is all about and we can understand all the meaning of it, and then let's go do it. Okay? So I want to sort of pose those as two somewhat contrasting approaches to Judaism and Jewish observance. The other thing, just one more thing, and then I want to open up because I want to hear what works for us and how we deal with this. The other thing is, here we see God is offering this to us. God is eating and drinking with the seven, not just with Moses, not just with Aaron, but all the 70s that came in, and there are 12 pillars set up for the whole people. I mean, here it's there's like this collegiality almost between God and us. Whereas there's a midrash from a week or two ago when it says all of us stood underneath the mountain, and the mountain was full of smoke and thunder, which is a much more awesome and powerful thing. The Agadah says they stood mitachtita har. They stood underneath the mountain. The Midrash says God took the mountain, lifted it up over all the Jewish people and said, you're going to do this or not? You want this Torah or not? If not, I'm dropping this mountain on your heads. A very different attitude from what we're getting this Torah reading. So the question is, how do these two approaches affect us? Do we sometimes need a mountain hanging over our heads? Do we need to understand everything before we do something? Are we willing to be open to doing something and let them finding the answers? And Joan, now I want to go back to you because those are the questions I think that these raise, and they're both here in the Torah. Well, the thing about the mountain over the head is a little dramatic, but it's also from Jewish tradition.
My question for my comment is tying into what you said, but from a little different
Okay.
angle. In the notes at the bottom, they
What
don't.
page?
They
What page?
478. It says 7. We will faithfully do.
Yeah.
And in those notes, they don't use listen. They use obey. That's very different.
Yes.
Obeys it and said it.
Yeah. So.
It's to heal.
Right.
When we say Shema Yisrael, we're clearly saying hear only. We're not saying obey,
Yeah. Yes.
but hear.
Yeah.
So But Shema does have many different contexts, so I can understand their translation of it.
Oh,
But-
I think it fits better.
But a lot of the commentators go back to the Shema of the hearing and saying, why didn't it say Nishma v'naseh? We'll hear it first and then do it. So,
Okay.
but they're not totally wrong either, by any stretch.
The translation, everyone translates.
So, but let's go back to the question. What is it?
I can only say it's like bringing children. That sometimes you think if by talking you can get them to do what you want, or sometimes you have to punish or do something,
Yeah.
and that's where you get the result. So
Yeah.
I can see it's the same thing,
Yeah.
Very-
How about for us? I mean, has there been a time in our life where we've taken on some mitzvah, or where we felt more willing to do some Jewish observance? And how did that happen? How does that in our own lives, or people we know? Or not? Does it not happen?
In your life there is ups and downs, and every time, and sometimes it's the same thing,
I never really understood a lot of the tradition around a person dying, around a close family member dying. Shiva, the 30 days, the 11 months. You know,
Yeah.
it really, it's not something that I readily accepted. Shiva I did, but even there, I felt very uncomfortable going to a Shiva house. I didn't really understand why I was there, especially if I didn't know the person well, or I didn't know the person who had died.
Yeah.
I just knew the person who was grieving. And I really struggled with that for a very long time until my father died. And then every single thing more than made sense. It was like, how could I miss this all these years and not realize how important each one of these steps are? And I've never refused to go to a Shiva house, even if I don't know a soul in there, ever since that happened. And that's the kind of thing I think that you're sort of looking at. For me, it was a very big change.
So that's a case of doing and then finding the meaning in it.
Yeah,
You tried to find the meaning in advance, and it just didn't fit for you.
it did.
But, and thank you for sharing that, and especially for that example, because I've seen so many times with death and a Shiva, that families who are not necessarily at all observant want to know exactly what to do. There are times and moments in our lives, we really, it's not like the mountains over their heads, it's like, I need this mountain. I need this guidance, I'm lost at this time. And that at those times people are so much wanting to do it, and it sustains us. It's not, it really is sustaining. And I think Judaism does, especially around the observances around death and dying, it's right on target for what we need. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no, I just, I did want to make another point, but just to go along with that, I think that's very true. And quite honestly, and not to say anything negative about other people's traditions and other religious traditions, but I've heard from so many people through the years how much they don't get what they need when they've had a death in their family, and they don't get certain supports, and they don't feel okay after their funeral, they don't feel okay after their wake. I've heard so many people call a wake barbaric. I've heard a lot of people really upset about the way that their parent or their loved one has been buried. And, so I can say, just from hearing from those people that are hurting, and I think they've shared it with me mostly because some people knew I was Jewish. We have a different tradition. And I feel I feel like I have to just say that you're so true, because when my dad died, I felt like the same thing. And I felt like we needed what we got. We got what we needed. We really did. We did a lot of, we didn't do everything we could have, but we did a lot. And it helped me, get through that. And even when others have passed, I felt that my Jewish strength and tradition has helped me through it. And when Ken's son died, that was really helpful, for us too. We brought that in. Nobody brought my sister-in-law any food when her mother just died a couple of weeks ago. I brought her a lot of food, and my sister-in-law was so eternally grateful because she said nobody brought anything. And it's our tradition to do that, to support those people. It's really
Sure.
important.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to say that, but I also wanted to say, I think for me, Shabbat has been something that has been, I think, like Bonnie said it best, her anchor of the week. And for me, there were a lot of things that we do that are I wrote, and we just do them and we do them. And when I come to Shabbat, I used to feel a different way, and I used to be a little bored. And I'm not bored. I'm not bored no matter how many times I do this, no matter how many times. But there was a time when I kind of lost it for a while, but then I started coming back to Shabbat services, and what I felt like was I got what I needed this day to get me through again. And it really was that scenario of recharging your battery. And when I can have that, so that was a part of me that through life, I would come sometimes, but I didn't feel the feeling that I now know these last 9 years, where I really kind of reconnected with my faith and really reconnected with why I come to Shabbat services.
And since you already knew about Shabbat, this was more I'm doing it, and then the meaning flows and the connection flows for you.
Is it kavanah? Is that the right word?
Well, kavanah,
Just really
actually
with
kavanah is the intention we go into doing an act. Sometimes, one approach is to say, just do the act. Sure, try to do it with intention. But even if you don't have the intention, do the act, the direction, the
Right.
kavanah, and hopefully the kavanah will come. So it
Yeah,
can go either way, and that's why I just love to hear people's
yeah,
experience with this, because I think some of us need to have, understand it, know it, and go into it with kavanah because we've studied it, and we know what it's supposed to be, and we try to make that happen. And sometimes, I think some people will jump in, and then having done it, say, wow, this touches me. I do have kavanah. I didn't know I had it when they went into
The same thing happens pretty much feeling that when you're young and you learn how to do it first time, it's like, okay, I've got to do it. And you do it. And it's a daily occurrence except for Shabbat and Yom Tov. And yet, over the years that I've been doing all my life, every morning. And as I reached the age of 30, which is still in the rearview mirror.
Last year,
Yes. It made more sense to me. I realized I'm binding a peoplehood and a Godhead to me. And it gives a lift that literally, as you say bracha and you're winding the strap on your arm or putting on the rosh, that it just lifts you up in an amazing way. And it has become now, 70. It has gotten to the point that it is almost a mystical experience that leads me then into morning prayer as the sun is coming up.
Hey, thank you for sharing, especially about tefillin, because it was just a few days ago here. There were some people here for Thursday morning minyan, and I don't know why. I just got the sense. I laid tefillin, but they didn't. I said, anyone want to know how to do this? 3 of the people said they really would love to learn. And so we went hunting for tefillin in the synagogue so we can do a tefillin workshop. Now here's going to be a case Well, actually, no, it's not a case of learn what it's about and then do it. They wanted to do it even not understanding what it's about.
Sure.
But they want to know how to do it properly. So we're going to do a filling workshop. Haven't set the date yet. But I just share that as, sometimes, these things happen. And why then? Why not 10 years before? Who knows? I want to share one story from my own life, which maybe I've shared with some of you before, which was Shoshana and I were having dinner with friends. This was in Philadelphia a long time ago. And our friend said to us, we usually say a motzi before the meal. Would you like to say the motzi over the bread with us before the meal? And we said, sure. We hadn't, this was not something we did ourselves regularly. So we said the motzi with her and had a lovely meal, etc. And then when we went back home, we said, that was really nice. And it really set just a wonderful tone, just this one sentence bracha set a wonderful tone for the whole meal. Now, no one was holding the Mount Sinai over our heads to do it. And actually, I think the thing that may have been closest to the Mount Sinai over our heads experience was in Hebrew school when we studied. I studied these blessings. Many of us studied them in Hebrew school if we went to Hebrew school. But there was never a connection that this could be part of my life outside of Hebrew school. That real normal people did this. And the gift that my friends gave to us was, we can do it, you want to join us? And since then, saying the motzi has been part of our family's experience. So that was a case of doing, even though intellectually I understood what it was before because I knew what the motzi was, etc. But that was a case of doing and then finding the meaning, and then making it happen. And just one postscript to the story. So we would do it in our family as our kids came along as well. And we'd sometimes the kids would lead it, we'd say amen to them or vice versa. So when my son went to kindergarten, a secular kindergarten, and he came back from this first day or second day of kindergarten, we asked, how was it? Well, he said, it was kind of great, kind of fun, but when I said a motzi, nobody said amen. And for him, that was just natural. That was just the way things happen. So we have different experiences, but anyone else have a story to share or experience or just any thoughts about this? I think it's an interesting question. How much do we have to really understand something before we do it? And how much can the experience of doing it inform us or whatever? Okay. Great. Talking about motzi, I get back up here and I can smell the challah wafting up. So let's continue with our birthday young lady leading us in Ein Keloheinu on page 182. Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemokeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Keloheinu, Kadoneinu, Kemokeinu, Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adoneinu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adoneinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shetiru, Shabeach Lado Hakol Lo Teitula Lioseh Breshit Shelo Asanu Kidoye Haratzot Velo Samanu Kimisharon Adama Shelo Samkel Yedukahem Vegor Aleinu Kechol Amanam Yanachnu Kolim Umishachadim Modim Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notei Shamayim V'Nosei Haaretz U'Moshe V'Karo B'Shamayim Nimar U'Shchinato V'Gahem V'Rohim Hu Eloheinu Eino Emes Malkeinu Ekesulato Kakatsu V'Torato V'yadata hayom V'hashemota Elamaka Ki Adonai Hu Elohim Hashamayim Nimar V'yaharetz V'yitachas Eino Kakatu v'toratecha Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed V'nemar v'haya Adonai L'melech ha'kol ha'aretz Hayom ha'hu Yeh Adonai echad U'shemo This week, we recall Edna Solomon, Edwin Oss, Ray Sheps, and Beatrice Kahan. Any other names to be added?
Matthew, you, and Ed Haas.
Mourner's Kaddish, page 184. Yikadal, Yikadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yamav, Yivrach, Yiroteh, Yamlit, Mafleteh, V'chayachon, Yamechon, V'chayet, V'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, U'bizman, Kariv, Yimru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah, Yivorach, Li'olam, V'li'amayah, Yiparach, V'yishtabach, V'yiparar, V'yitraman, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitalel, V'yitalal, Shmei Kusha, Brechu, Le'ela, Mikol, Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechamata, Da'amiran, V'alma, V'yimru, Amen. Yehi Shtama Rabbah, V'yishmaya, V'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom v'ramav, U'yaseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru Amen.
This is yet another example of that.
Kaddish.
Kaddish for my mother.
See, there's actually a wonderful book called Kaddish. That I was thinking we might do an adult education for. Sorry, I don't have my voice. So let's turn it over to Joe.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
Shabbat Shalom, everyone here and everyone home, and that may be watching us on streaming. And I guess I'm going to begin with a very grateful thank you to Stephen Fryman, who was here last weekend and who fixed our streaming. So we've been having trouble with the. We've been having trouble with it, and we knew quite a while ago that that the services were not being recorded, and if you went into YouTube, you wouldn't be able to find them from about August on. And we called several people within the congregation, and they were not helpful, but Stephen,
We'll find out.
no, it's working. I've tested it. It is working. It is perfectly fine now, and everything that is you're hearing here is being recorded. So beginning with this Shabbat, we should be back on a normal schedule, and we are very thankful for people like Stephen. We thank you. Okay, so. I hope everybody is able to stay for Kiddush today so that you can help celebrate Brielle's birthday. I know her birthday was a couple of weeks ago, but we had to find a Shabbat that wasn't taken for her to celebrate with all of us, and so it turned out to be today. I know it's Groundhog's Day. I don't know what the groundhog has done, if anybody
No
has
shadow.
that. No shadow.
No shadow, spring's coming.
Okay, thank you. And it feels a little springier. The sun is out today, so it's good. And because the weather is so nice and the sun is out and there are no storms, I expect everyone to be here tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock for an absolutely wonderful program that we have been really looking forward to. So this is number 2 of our lecture series. And again, it's going to be Simon Seibelman, whom we are proud to call a member. But more than that, his resume is huge. You'll hear more about it tomorrow morning. And the topic tomorrow is Elie Wiesel, especially in conjunction with a book that he wrote called The Testament. I personally had not heard of this until we booked this program. Some of you may not have heard of this book. And we have copies of the book if you would like to purchase one at the end of the program. But the important thing is that you don't have to have read the book to be able to participate in discussion and get a lot out of tomorrow's program. And the second best thing about tomorrow is the wonderful lunch that will follow the program. When we had our lecture series 1, when we did Chagall, we tried to do a French lunch. This time, knowing that Elie Wiesel has roots from Romania, we've gone Eastern European. That's all I'm telling you. There will be some surprises at tomorrow's lunch that you have not maybe had here before. The 13th, February 13th is our next board meeting, and that's at 7:30. And I think that's the most important. I think I've
Was
touched
tomorrow
on it.
the third and fourth?
Oh, I'm sorry, the third, yes,
Not
absolutely,
the, I'm
sorry,
talking about
yes.
the Patriots, because that, that's.
That goes without saying, yes. However, people who are, whether you're here tomorrow or not for the lecture series, you should come in around 2 o'clock or something like that.
That late.
Well, so come for the lecture series and then stay for the next rehearsal. The next Purim play rehearsal will be tomorrow after lunch. So we're doing that, and then there's another one on the 17th, Sunday the 17th, and on Sunday the 24th. And those begin at our usual time of 10 o'clock with 9:30 if you want some bagels first. So the 17th and 20th, and there may be some more in between, which will keep everybody informed. The play is definitely taking shape. But it is also not too late, if you have not come to any of these rehearsals, it is not too late for you to be part of this play. And our director, writer, producer has a wonderful way of personalizing every part. So if you come, he will find a part for you that you will enjoy playing.
Did you hear what Michael said?
What? No.
Talent is not required.
Oh, okay. Michael is one of the stars of the production. Says talent is not required. So that's true. There's plenty of support talent around that will keep you going. Last year's play was just a smash, and this year's play should be equal. Okay. I think that's all for today. Let's go down and wish happy birthday to
After Adon Alum.
Oh, I don't know. I always do that. Okay.
You want to go back to the
She's-
announcements after I don't know
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll let you get away with it.
And the rehearsals can be pretty funny in themselves, so you're welcome to stay just a while. Page 187. Adon Olam Hashem Allah, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, V'ez Nasa V'hefso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, V'acharei Yichlos HaKol, V'vado Yimloch Nohora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Loven, V'hu Yiyeh Netzifara, V'hu Echad, V'ein Sheni, Le'av Shilo, Le'av Mira, V'li Reshit, V'li Tachlit, V'lo Ha'oz, V'ham Yisra, V'hu Evi, V'chai Noami, V'tzur Hevli, V'etz Hara, V'hu Nisi, U'manosli, V'nat Kosi, V'yom Ekra, V'yado, Achi Ruchi, V'yez Isham, V'yahira, V'im Ruchi, V'yasi, Adonai li, V'lo yirah. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat.